Hello there, everybody. This is Stephen Thomas with Reports on Housing, coming to you live with another housing debrief. But we also have this wonderful editor, not my editor. Sort of, I'm not writing something. He's our producer. He's producing another housing debrief. Thank you, Ezekiel Thomas. We really appreciate you being here and helping out. I invite everybody to like and subscribe to our channel because, hey, this is content where we're trying to deliver, educate people, educate everybody that's out there so they can make great decisions based upon facts and data. We don't have a narrative we're trying to push where we're trying to go a certain way. We're trying to tell everybody what we see and what the numbers look like so that you can make wonderful decisions for yourselves and your families. So, this week, we're talking about housing crisis to start 2024, and there is a housing crisis that will start the year off in 2024. It's not a crash in housing. We've talked about that many times before, so that's not what it is. How about a bubble? It's not a bubble either. Nope, we've talked about that. This is not what we're dealing with. It's not a bubble. It's a bunch of foreclosures? No, the housing market, the housing stock is just way too strong. That's not what we're talking about either. What we're referring to in this housing crisis is the inventory. The inventory that we're at right now is just about to hit that peak. It's a late peak, but still, the peak of where we're at right now is not that high, and where we're going to start off the year is a lot lower. And it's like as if your gas tank is on empty, and it right now doesn't even tell you how many miles you have left because you don't have that many miles left. So you're wondering, am I going to make it to the gas station? That's about what we've been dealing with inventory-wise since we've gone into this pandemic. It is a real supply crisis. That is the crisis that we are going to all face at the start of 2024. And I like to show you I use this chart all the time because it is important to reiterate it as many times as I possibly can because we can glean a lot of information from the United States total housing inventory. And when you look at the total housing inventory, I'm going to show you where Dodd-Frank actually, this is where Dodd-Frank was passed in July of 2010. And after that, lending standards got extremely tight. They got tight immediately after the start of the great financial crisis, but they got even tighter with the introduction of Dodd-Frank and a lot of programs that were out there that people were duped into getting into were no longer available. There were pretty much no adjustable rate mortgages that you can get into other than fixed for a certain amount of time, like 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, 10 years. And that is primarily then everybody's getting fixed rate mortgages, totally having to qualify, and payments and terms and everything have to be in big, bold print so that everybody can understand and they will not be duped. Because that is kind of what happened prior to the Great Recession. So what we built was an incredibly strong housing stock of homeowners that could totally afford their payment. And because they could afford their payment, they didn't get into pickles and they didn't move. And over time, we've seen our inventory totally come down. That inventory has definitely slid down further and further and further until we got to the start of January of 2020. Each of these mountains, there's tiny little mountains, you could see them. Each of those mountains is a year. And at the very beginning, I'm showing you where the different Januaries are. I'm pointing to January of 2020, right prior to the start of COVID. We had very, very few homes on the market. As a matter of fact, it was the fewest number of homes on the market going back to 1983 when the National Association of Realtors started collecting the data. Now there were a lot fewer people back then, and yet in 2020, we actually had fewer homes than all of those years ever before. And that was prior to the pandemic. And that is where we really saw a problem in the inventory. And then we had COVID. And I include even this year on the right, that's 2023. We're not really dealing with COVID, but now there's this COVID abyss where we've driven down the inventory to low levels that we have never really experienced before. And when you draw a line across it, it's way less than where we were anywhere prior to COVID. During the Great Recession, prior to the Great Recession, we were at 4 million homes on the market. We're lucky to have 1.3 million right now as it stands. And I'm going to show you here, all these little yellow lines are showing you the different Januaries. The first one on the left is January of 2020. We talked about that, but then it goes in order: the 2021, 2022, and 2023. And you can see how low these starts are. And I'm showing you here that in January of 2022, across the United States, it was the all-time low in number of homes. The second lowest was January of 2023, and the third lowest was January of 2021. We're just dealing with these ultra low, and this is me drilling down. You don't even see the 4 million because we're well below the 1.5 million right now. And right now, today, you can see it on the right-hand side. Right now, you can see on the right-hand side where we actually had a bit of a spike, and that spike was because of interest rates remaining above 7% since the end of July. That's 2023, and we've actually built a little bit of an inventory, but we're about to hit this peak in housing. Now, the peaks usually come at during the summer for many markets, but by September for pretty much all the United States, the start of September. And instead, we're going to experience this peak all the way in November. So we've built a little bit extra inventory. My big concern was if we peaked it during the summer, that we were going to come down to levels that would have matched the start of 2022, would have matched the lowest ever. So we have a few more homes to start off this coming up year, but it's going to be very close to where we even started this year. And in many markets, like I'm tracking Southern California and the Bay Area and Phoenix and Vegas, and some of the bigger markets like the Bay Area and Southern California, it's actually going to be less than it'll be the second lowest, right behind 2022. So we're following these normal seasons. We have spring, summer, fall, and winter. There's another season that's out there. It's called the holidays. Oh my gosh. Are the holidays about to start? Yeah. Yes, the holidays are about to start. Yes, that's right. The holidays are almost here. Oh, but first I wanted to bring in our sponsor. Thank our sponsor for making this housing debrief happen, and it is Prosperity Home Mortgage. Danny Valentini and his team of mortgage professionals he can be reached at 619-991-0706. That's 619-991-0706. Prosperity Home Mortgage. Experience matters. They've been helping buyers since 1987. He's been around for a long time. Loan originators and processors that have worked with each other since 2006. That's prior to the Great Recession. And here's the team of professionals across Southern California at Prosperity Home Mortgage. They have representatives in the Coachella Valley, in Northern California as well. That was first was Southern California. You saw that great team. And at Prosperity Home Mortgage, they have standard loans, conforming, jumbo, VA, FHA. They have programs designed to help buyers purchase before they sell. They have programs designed for borrowers with assets, programs for self-employed borrowers. So, turn to Prosperity Home Mortgage. They too can help you out. Danny Valentini, call him 619-991-0706. That's 619-991-0706. Now, back to the program. Thank you, Danny Valentini and Prosperity Home Mortgage, for sponsoring the Housing Debrief. Where did we leave it? We left it at the holiday market. That's right. The holiday market is here. This is where, in just a couple of weeks, Thanksgiving. How cool is Thanksgiving? We get to eat a lot, don't we? It's so much fun. We get to eat. We get to play games, as many games as we want. Yes, that's right. We get to play. We play some hockey out in the parking lot. That's where I get to feel really old, because there's a lot of young whippersnappers and our kids that can outmaneuver the puck Unbelievable. Then we're going to head into this fun stuff where it's going to get deeper into the holidays and we're all going to be exchanging gifts and having fun. And then we're going to roll into the new year. Here's what happens during the holiday market. We have demand going down. Everyone's going, yeah, demand's going to go down. Who's going to want to be in the market? However, we also have a decline in supply because the fewest number by far, it is far fewer than all the other months. The fewest number of homes come on the market in December. The second fewest number of homes come on the market in November. What month are we in? November. That's right. We're in November. So we're going to have fewer and fewer homes coming on the market, and we're going to have homes that they've probably reached for the sky and they haven't been able to be successful in this market. So they're going to pull their homes off the market. So the inventory really drops fast going all the way to January 1st, and then it'll start to pick up. But it drops pretty darn fast, and it will drop fast from the middle of this month, which is next week, all the way to January 1st. And then we're going to have this tug of war. We've had this tug of war between that has been going on between buyers and sellers. And even though we have a low inventory, the tug of war still exists because of how high interest rates are. So there's really this tug of war between the supply scarcity and the affordability crisis. And what is happening is as the inventory dwindles down even more, the supply scarcity, the supply crisis is bigger and trumps the affordability crisis that we have. And we have a robust spring. And we've had interest rates come down 0.5% in just the last couple weeks. And interest rates with other inventory news can come down even further towards below 7% with just economic news. We get a consumer price index read coming up this Tuesday. So this is where you could see already within the last week, we went down 0.25%, and we're now at 7.5% across the United States. This was the biggest 1 week drop since November of last year. And if you remember, that fueled last November a pretty good start to this year. The start of this year was pretty darn good, and that was because rates had topped out like they did at 8%, and they're making their way down. And we had already a jobs report. They went down because this jobs report was way less than expectations because the economy is starting to show signs of cooling. And the more economic readings that show signs of cooling, the more rates are going to drop because there's a lot of money right now parked on the sidelines, a lot of cash, and they're going to go to 10-year treasuries and mortgage-backed securities for a safe haven because they see the economy starting to cool. And the more coolness that we see, the more that they're going to enter that, and we're going to watch rates drop. So as that happens, the supply scarcity will still remain and be big, and the affordability crisis will get better, and the market will start to churn. And that's where we're going to see the spring is going to be pretty good. It could be a little bit later, just depends upon when interest rates come down, and they're going to be coming down next year. We have a forecast for 2024 coming up in December, so stay tuned for that in December. And you know what? That is we're going to start off this year is a supply crisis, and it's going to be met perhaps with lower rates to start. It could happen a little bit later, but in the end, there's going to be times where it's just going to feel like this. It's just going to be really a hotter market than many, many people expect. If you want a copy of this, you need to be a subscriber to our housing report, any of our reports. As a matter of fact, we're going to be launching a new report next week. And that's coming. It's another Southern California report, so stay tuned for all that, all the fanfare regarding it. Go to reportsonhousing.com and subscribe. And Is the Price Right is the most recent report. These are inexpensive. Our reports are inexpensive on purpose. They're only $15 a month or $150 per year. Utilize the coupon code CRISIS, and you will get a free month. We do have a podcast. Our most recent one came out a week ago on Wednesday, Haunted Housing. There's a new one that will come out this coming up Wednesday. And thank you for joining us for another housing debrief. You want to come up here and say goodbye to everybody? That's right. Come on over here. Oh, yes. Oh, we have an announcement to make. I became a grandpa. We're going to be called Pop Pop. How about you?
Pop pop.
Yeah, I'm going to be Pop Pop. Because did your sister have a baby?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That is really cool. What's the baby's name? Do you remember it? Rowan.
Oh,
She is a beautiful baby. I got to hold her yesterday. You're going to be able to hold her probably tomorrow. How much fun is that? Yeah, pretty cool, huh? So, congratulations to our daughter, Michaela, who just had baby Rowan. And, oh, yes, okay. I have my other producer, and Sean. So, Sean and Michaela introduced Rowan to the world, and boy, are we in love. It's pretty darned awesome. So, thank you very much for joining us for another Housing Debrief, and have a fantastic finish to your weekend. We will see you on the other side. Say bye.